Hey guys, Funky Gibbon here with another deck profile for you. I'm considering selling this deck, probably within my locals, which is in Camberley, by the way, southeast England. But I may post, so if you wanted to make me some offers on it or whatever, then I'm happy to hear them. I'll consider them, and if they sound good, then I'll be happy to take the payment through PayPal or something, and I'd of course send the deck out to you straight away. It will come fully sleeved and in a deck box, this one. But I'll take you through the cards in the deck. I'll go through some of the extra deck as well, but unfortunately the extra deck will not be included. I'll just show you the cards that I use, just to sort of get an idea of what cards you might need to get hold of if you were to buy the deck from me. Sorry. Right, so I'll go ahead. This is Macro Monarchs. I've been running this deck for a few weeks now. I find it really fun. It's really good. It screws up quite a lot of strategies. But yeah, most of you guys know what it does. I'll just take you through the deck now. Okay, so we got 3. DD Survivor, pretty much the staple of the macro side of things, apart from Macro Cosmos itself, of course. Its effect is, if it's face up on the field and it's removed from play, it's special summoned in the end phase, so basically it just keeps coming back, hence the name, Survivor. That means obviously you contribute it for stuff, and it comes back again, which is always really handy, and it really, really pisses off your opponents, guys. Seriously, it's really funny. Next is 3 DD Scout Plane. Pretty much the same effects as Survivor, a bit less restrictive, so it doesn't have to be face up. It's a really good card to use if you use Allure of Darkness. Because then you can just remove it from play straight from your hand, and then during the end phase it comes back. Again, good tribute fodder. Generally quite a good card. Not as powerful as DD Survivor in terms of attack. It's only got 100 attack, but it's still pretty good. Next up is 2 DD Warrior Lady. These are, I'll go through the rarities as well. The survivors are 1 common, 1 rare, and 1 ultimate. The Scout Planes are all common, and the 2 DD Warrior Ladies are super rare. DD Warrior Lady is really, really good. Obviously, you can set it, your opponent attacks into it. Both the cards get removed from play. It's quite amusing to troll your opponents a bit. You know, yeah. Obviously, you could attack into another opponent's monster. Yeah, you might take a bit of damage, but then they still get both removed from play after damage calculations. So either way, it's pretty good. Okay, so that's the DD stuff. Now on to the Monarchs. I run 3 Caius. These are all Ultra. All from the starter deck. Yeah, all from the starter deck. Which you can't get anymore. Obviously, you know this effect is all of the Monarchs are 2400 beaters, but they all have different effects. When Caius is summoned, you can remove from play 1 card on the field. If it's a dark monster, your opponent takes 1000 damage. It's always good. Yeah, so okay, so next we'll move on to 3 Riser. We got 2 supers and an ultimate. This one is, when it's tribute summoned, you can return 1 card on the field to the top of its owner's deck. So it could be good for something like an Exceeds. If your opponent has something like, I don't know, Utopia or some other Exceed monster on the field, obviously it'd be pretty good, so you can bounce it. Next up I run 1 Mobius. This is also an ultimate. This is a recent addition. I've replaced it. I took out 1 Festalos to put it in. It's pretty good. You can destroy up to 2 spell or trap cards on the field. So if your opponent's sitting behind a fairly large back row, you could sort of take out a couple of their defences, which is always good. 1 Festalos, another super. When this one is tribute summoned, you can randomly discard 1 card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. Obviously, if you've got Macro on the field, it'll be removed from play instead. If the discarded card was a monster card, inflict damage to your opponent's life points equal to the level of the monster times 100. So, it could be good. If they run something like Chaos Dragons with a lot of high-level monsters, then they might take a fair bit of damage. That's the Monarchs done. Next is 2 Cyber Dragon. Obviously great because they're an easy special summon, but also because you could tribute Survivor for them. And then obviously Survivor might come back, or Scout Plane. So that's the monsters out the way. I'll just move those. The Cyber Dragons are Ultra, by the way. Next up is 3-dimensional Fisher. 2 secrets and 1 common. Dimensional Fisher is obviously my kind of backup if macro fails. Obviously it's a spell, so you can play it straight down. No having to wait to chain it to anything. Any monster sent to graveyard is banished instead. So that's pretty straightforward, self-explanatory. 1 Allure of Darkness. This is good, because if you already have DD Scout Plane in your hand, like I said earlier, you can draw 2 and then remove it from play, and then end phase it comes back again onto the field. So that's always good. A bit of extra draw power there. 1 Grand Conversions. This card is brilliant. It's so underrated. Basically, if Macro Cosmos is on the field, inflict 300 damage to your opponent and destroy all monsters in the field. So it's essentially an extra Dark Hole, but your opponent also gets burned a little, which is, it's always a good thing. Next up is Standard 2 MST. No, don't really need to explain those. 2 Pot of Duality. Again, a bit of extra draw power. A Rotor to add either DD Warrior Lady or DD Survivor to your hand. Dark Hole. Heavy Storm. Don't really need to explain those. Obviously, I don't run Monster Reborn because the idea is to remove all the cards from play, not to have things sitting in the graveyard. These are all commons, by the way. Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, and the dualities are super from the tin. Right, that's the spells. Next up is the traps. We have 3 Macro Cosmos, of course. We have 1 Ultra and 2 common. This is obviously the main staple of the Macro deck. Any card that would be sent to the graveyard is removed from play instead. Yeah, you can't really go much further than that. I mean, it's a good card, It's great. It screws up a lot of strategies. Chaos Dragons don't like it. Light Swarms don't like it. It could hurt Insectors, I suppose. There's a few things. Next up, for kind of attack stoppers, I run 3-dimensional Prison. We've got 2 common, 1 Ultra. Yep, that's good. It stops attacks, removes from play. It's good. Dark Bribe to stop things like Heavy Storm. Mirror Force to stop the attacks. TT, again, to destroy. Starlight Road to protect your back row. 2 Solemn Warnings. And a Solemn Judgment. For the extra deck, I really just use Photon Pappy Operative and Utopia for those level 4 exceeds. Right guys, my battery's failing, so I'm going to have to sign off. Like I said, message me with offers and stuff. I'll see you on the next video.